Some had horns and tusks, some had tails and scales, some were the colour of fresh blood, others the colour of dried blood. Some had many heads, some had many breasts, some had eyes in places where there should not be eyes, and teeth in places where there should not be teeth. Finally, the biggest demon of all emerged from the hole, and the other demons, they cowered around him. This was Raktabija, the Demon King. Huge red bulging stomach, naked apart from a belt of blood-smeared dangling jewels, the tail of a dragon, the claws of a vulture, horns and tusks that shone and glinted in the sunlight as he blinked, his eyes adjusting to the light. You have awoken us. Tell me why? Nervously, Indra explained the curse and their predicament.
So, you are weak and we are strong. I could take this world from you now. All of this could be mine.
Indra did not know what to say, but the blue-skinned boy did. The world might give you pleasure, but you'll miss out on the treasure.
Treasure, you say? I like treasure. You promise to share this treasure?
And Indra said, I promise. If you help me to churn this ocean of milk, I will give you half of the treasure. And so it wasn't long before the demons ripped up Indra's mountain and carried it down to the ocean on their shoulders. They took the snake that lived beneath the mountain, they wrapped it around the mountain, they tipped the mountain upside down, tip first into the milk where it sank down, and then with the gods on one side of the ocean holding on to the snake's tail, and the demons on the other side of the ocean holding on to the snake's head, they took it in turns to pull and pull, and as they did, the mountain twisted from side to side, but with nothing to rest on, it sank into the milk. But where the blue-skinned boy had been standing, there suddenly appeared a turtle with a bright blue shell. This turtle slipped into the milk. It swam just beneath the mountain. It rested the mountain tip on its shell. And now that there was a pivot in place, the ocean of milk could be churned.
Do, do, muckan, muckan, do, do, muckan, muckan, do, do, muckan, muckan, do, do, muckan, muckan, and they pulled, and they pulled, and they pulled, and the ocean of milk began to thicken. And as it did, the world made its heart's desires known. The sky, dark and lonesome, longed for company. And from the ocean uprose a great silver moon. Dancing girls that left their milky footprints across the skies. Do, do, muckan, muckan, do, do, muckan, muckan, do, do.
And then the forest, also lonely, longing for company, made its heart's desire known, and out from the ocean came tigers and jackals and beasts and bears and ants, and crawling and leaping and bounding in amongst the trees.
Do, do, muckan, muckan, do, do, muckan, muckan.
And then fish and frogs leapt, splashing into the world's lakes and rivers. And then the world's first people, two-legged people, climbed out of the milk and made their way across the plains to build their homes. And then a huge flock of flapping wings, sparrows and hawks, butterflies and bees, up into the empty skies.
Do, do, muckan, muckan, do, do, muckan, muckan.
The gods were exhausted, on the verge of collapse, when finally the milk thickened. It turned into a smooth, shining butter. And from the heart of the ocean rose an old man, a face as wrinkled as a turtle, and in his hands he held a bowl overflowing with golden nectar. Raktabija's eyes lit up. The treasure! Indra saw it too, and he got to his feet, and he tried to walk, but he was too weak, and he fell to the ground. He cried out, "Wait! Remember, I only promised you half." Indra watched as Raktabija made his way across the butter. Finders, keepers, losers, weepers. He was about to grab the whole bowl of nectar when the old man transformed, shining and tall and slender and beautiful, he became she. And she was the most dazzling woman that Raktabija had ever seen, the only woman that he had ever seen, and he was paralysed. All he could do was stand and stare and drool. Indra saw his chance. He got onto his knees and he crawled across the butter until he reached the bowl of nectar. He took it and he he felt the strength filling his veins once again. When he drunk his fill, he passed the bowl onto the sun god who drank, and onto the wind god and the river god, and when it finally came back to Indra, it was still half full. Raktabija's eyes refocused as she vanished. He looked at Indra and saw the nectar and said, "Wait, remember, you promised me half, now give it to me." Finders, keepers, losers, weepers. Isn't that what you said? And Indra drank the last few drops. It wasn't long before Indra was back up on his mountain top. "Sun, shine, wind, dance, river, flow," he cried. And they did. And the world was filled with a warm, golden light. The forests were alive with the whoops and calls of the animals. The fish splashed in the gurgling rivers. And Indra was about to celebrate, to set the world alight once more with his thunderbolts and lightning spears, when he remembered, just in time, how all of this had started, and for now held back. Meanwhile, Raktabija, enraged at having been cheated, led the demons back down into their dark underworld. But the boulder was gone. Their gateway to the world above was open now, and they could come and go as they pleased. Ever since that day, the demons, hungry for revenge, have emerged from that dark underworld and roamed this world, spreading their greed and envy and bitterness and anger and hatred as they go. They come in all shapes, they come in all sizes, they come in disguises. Maybe you've seen one. Maybe you've met one. Maybe you know one. Maybe you've seen one on the television. A particularly powerful, shiny orange one, perhaps. They're everywhere. Watch out. And join me again tomorrow as we follow Shiva the Great Destroyer on an epic journey.